Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another video. This is going to be something different. Although this may be a deck profile, this is going to be my second custom deck profile that I'll be doing, but it's another archetype, which you guys should be familiar with, that I'm very fond of. And besides hearing all my mumbo jumbo, I'm going to just start off. We're going to be playing Black Sayain Shaggy, as he's the first card right now. You'll notice with all the Black Saiyan monsters, they have a similar effect. Anytime they attack an opponent's monster, they're always 100 points stronger until the end of the damage step. But with this card is that he is not only is he a warrior and dark tuner monster, so basically you could target up to 2 Black Saiyan monsters. You control their levels become 4 until the end phase. And if this card is sent to your graveyard, you can shuffle 3 black cards except Shaggy from your graveyard and or banish onto your deck, draw 2 cards. You can use the second and third effect of Black Sayain Shaggy once per turn. And I also forgot to mention that pretty much all the Black Saiyan monsters in the main deck are mainly level 8 dark warrior monsters. And that will play a huge important role in this deck profile as while I proceed telling you the card choices as I will demonstrate to you how they work and are compatible together. Another important extender we're playing is Black Saiyan Zeon, possibly one of the strongest in the main deck right as of now. So we're gonna read similar effect, but you can special summon this card from your hand by banishing 1 level 8 or higher dark attribute monster from your hand or graveyard. When this card is normal spell summoned, you can activate 1 black field spell, equip spell, or continue spell trap from your deck. You can only use the second and third effect of Black Saiyan Zeon once per turn. And this is something you have to play through because you're basically playing at least more than 1 copy of your black spell and trap cards. And not only that, he has the strongest attack, even though they can pretty much get over any monster when they attack, but during your opponent's turn, he's going to be hard to defeat and overcome. So, an extender that you have to play 3 is 3 Aisha. She has a huge important role that while this card is in your hand, you can discard it from your hand, add Black Saiyans Matter or Black Wall Street from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Aisha once per turn. The reason why I specifically say you can add these, you can discard to add those certain cards because those cards are the main core of the Black Saiyans. In order to help you get not only get access to them a lot quicker, but for you to easily summon them every single turn, whether it's from your graveyard or from your hand, and you can normal summon them without tributing. But I'll explain the other effects after. So another extender we're playing is 3 Ambrose. There's really a lot to explain for this card. I'm just going to get straight to the point. Once per turn, you can make all Black Saiyan monsters you control level 12 to the end phase. Quick effect. If your opponent controls 2 or more monsters while you control 1 or no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. If you do, banish the card when it leaves the field. When this card is normal special summon, you can special summon 1 level 8 or higher dark attribute monster from a graveyard, and has the ability where has several effects. Well, and it's other quick effect is that you can immediately exceed summon using monsters you control, including this card is exceed materials for an exceed monster in extra deck. You can only use the second, third, and fourth effect of Black Saint Ambrose once per turn. The reason why this is important playing through because she helps. It's the simple fact that she helps you retaliate. She's really easy to summon. Helps you make a comeback towards your opponent. Going to really powerful exceeds monsters, whether it's during your turn or your opponent's turn, and can be able to disrupt the flow of your opponent's strategy. If you guys get what I mean. For our we're just playing Black Saint Antoine. It ensures that your Black Saint monsters you control cannot be target destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You can discard 1 card from your hand, target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy them. You already know the effect. So another card we're playing 3 of, another Black Saint card is Shanique. Here she allows you to pretty much link summon, but if your opponent controls 3 or 4 more monsters while you control 2 or less monsters, you can special summon this card from hand or graveyard. If you do, banish it when it leaves the field. When this card is normal or special summon, you can add one black card from banish zone to your hand except Shanique, or you can special summon one level 8 or higher dark attribute monster from banish zone to your field. And has pretty, like I said, has the same effect to Ambrose, where you can pretty much, while it's face up in the field, you can immediately link summon using monsters you control, including this card for a link monster in your extra deck. And the final 3 effects are hard ones per turn. So another 3 of that you gotta max out on is Elijah. When this card is normal or special summon, add one black card from your deck or graveyard to your hand except Elijah. It's only once per turn. Another one of her playing is Jermaine, because as you see here, look at his effect. When this card is normal special summoned, you can special summon one level 8 or higher dark attribute monster from your hand. Monroe is a card that you gotta play at 3 because he has a crazy effect. Even though you can't really special summon him, he doesn't have his own like inherent summon, but it's like if you match to summon him and you have a lot of dark attribute monsters with different names, you get to draw one card for each dark attribute monster with a different name, including him. So it's like if you have him, that's one card, but if you have more than one, you could draw 2 or more cards. So the other one we're playing is Noah. He's actually the most weakest of the Black Sand monsters. This effect can be useful if you want to also go into his other effect may not be that strong, like I said, but he's another alternative. He's another alternative that can help you go into your rank 12 plays, and again, just being able to increase your monster attack just by a little bit, or by 400. The only good thing about his effect is that you can use his effect 3 times per turn. And for our ritual monster in the main deck we're playing is Booker. Can only be ritual summoned by 8-star ball if this card attacks an opponent's monster. Same thing, but what's interesting is while you control this face-up card, neither player can add or special summon monsters from their deck except during their main phase 2. And then it has a quick effect. You can send one card you control from your hand to the graveyard. If you do, you take no damage for the rest of the turn. Which ritual monsters tend to be a lot more vulnerable, but it takes advantage of its vulnerability, making sure that if you were to take damage, you take no damage for the rest of the turn. And it's one of those cards that's worth keeping on the field, especially if you want to save yourself for the remainder of the turn and be able to continue and then be able to survive that turn and be able to draw and then go into your plays the next turn, if you guys get what I mean. So the card to ritual summon is 8-star ball. So this one is different. It doesn't just simply ritual summon Booker, but if you tribute monster from your hand or field whose total level is equal to 8, you can ritual summon a level 8 ritual monster from your hand or deck. You can banish this card from hand or graveyard. It has another effect where you can pretty much fusion summon as well, which is why I limited the card, so you can fusion summon any generic fusion monster while it's in your hand or graveyard. And then that itself makes the card a lot more abusable because you get to basically get 2 additional summons with just this one card, so which is why it's limited. Obviously, a card that I highly suggest that you play in this deck is Allure Darkness, since like I mentioned before, they're all dark attribute monsters. Just constantly be able to draw 2 cards and banish one can help you go into your key pieces a lot more quicker, and seeing and building the most consistent and the strongest opening as much as possible. A card you have to definitely max out on is Black Sayain Evolution, because this allows you to summon your Black Sayain monsters a lot easier since they're all like level 8. So by activating this card, it happens to be a equipped card, so you activate this card, special summon one Black Sayain from your deck or graveyard attack position, equip this card onto the special summon monster. You cannot special summon or add except by drawing monsters from your deck or graveyard except Black Sayain monsters the turn you activated this effect. And if this card is sent to your graveyard, you can add one Black Sayain monster from deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect of Black Sayain Evolution once per turn. So our only one of we're playing is that happen to be Black Sayain cards. And for our spell lineups, Black Sayain Power, pretty much special summon a Black Sayain monster from your hand. It gains this effect whether you contribute a level or rank 8 or higher monster from hand field, destroy a monster opponent controls, or you can tribute the same type of monster kind of monster. Destroy all spell trap cards your opponent controls. So you have two options. Basically, a monster that can inherit Lightning Storm, but where you can prove regardless whether you have face-up cards or not. So, another wonderful thing is Black Saint Will. Although it lets you draw two cards by discarding one Black Saint monster, it is a hard once per turn, and the fact that except the turn this card sent to your graveyard, you can banish it from your graveyard, special summon one level rank 8 or higher dark attribute monster from your graveyard. It also can be struck battle card effects. You can only use one effective Black Sentinel once per turn. And these are the important cards I've been wanting to tell you guys. Was Black Saints Matter. When this card is activated, add one Black Wall Street from your deck or graveyard to banish into your hand. Black Saint monsters can be normal summoned without attributing. Once per turn, you can special summon one Black Saint monster from your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it from your graveyard. Add one Black Saint monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use the first and third effect of Black Saint's Matter once per turn. And the reason why this card is so important, not only because it allows you to search Black Wall Street, it's the fact that you constantly special summon from your hand, on top of being able to normal summon Black Saint monsters without attributing. The same goes for Black Wall Street. You can add Black Saint's Matter from your deck or graveyard band or banish them to your hand. Although you can only use this effect once per turn. Same thing, you can normal summon them without attributing, but if you control no monsters, you can special summon one Black Saint monster from your graveyard. You can special summon monsters on your field, except level, rank 8 or higher monsters, and Black Saint monsters the turn you activate this effect. Another spell, and our final spell there, where I max down trade in because 3. Some people prefer to play 2 because sometimes it can be a dead brick, but not in this deck since all our monsters that we're playing are pretty much level 8 monsters, and that's why I want to explain to you guys why I'm even playing these cards. And these are the cards that I was going to go into while telling you the strategies and the interaction these cards have and how compatible they are, because this card is so compatible with Black Saints. You have to play 3 now because not only can you activate this more than once, it lets you dig deeper into your deck that much easier, and it's not a hard draw whatsoever. So for our traps, we're playing Black Saint Instinct. So basically, it's like infinite permanents where you can activate from your hand, but only if you control 2 or more level 8 or rank 8 higher Black Saint monsters. You target and banish one Black Saint monster you can control. Banish all monsters your opponent controls. Return the target to your field during your second standby phase. You can only use this effect once per turn. Our continuous trap is Black Saint Pride. When this card is activated, add Black Saint's Matter or Black Wall Street from your deck, graveyard, or banish onto your hand. You can only use this effect of Black Saint Pride once per turn. Same thing, you can normally summon them without attributing, and another powerful effect is you can attribute one level or rank 8 or higher monster from hand to field. Special summon one Black Saint monster from your main deck. And our final trap, Black Saint Surge. If your opponent were to activate a card effect while you control Black Saint monster with 2000 or more attack, the effect becomes pay 800 life points and special summon one dark attribute monster or warrior type monster from your graveyard or banish onto your field instead. While this card is in your graveyard, you can normal summon Black Saint monsters without attributing, which will always come in handy. So if it was in your graveyard, so even if you don't have Black Saint's Matter or Black Saint Pride or Black Wall Street on your field, if this card's in your graveyard, you can normal summon them constantly without attributing, regardless. So as long as it exists in your graveyard. So we're heading into straight to our extra deck that I customized. Let's go into our Xyz and links first before we go into our fusion and synchro monsters. The first card we're going to is Black Saint Bozeman. So this card is really good because it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and also gains an additional attack on your opponent's monsters for each Xyz material attached to this card during your main phase. You can detach one Xyz material from this card, special summon one dark attribute monster from either player's graveyard to your field, and the same thing once per turn. Black Saint Carmelo Construction are the first level 12, rank 12 Xyz monster I'll be revealing to you guys. Any monster's card destroys battle since the graveyard is banished instead. If this card were to leave the field by battle card effect, detach one Xyz material from this card instead. If a card in your possession would be negated by your opponent's card, you can detach one Xyz material from this card and negate the activation to banish that card. The iconic card of this archetype that obviously you gotta play is Black Saint Moses. Cards 3 level 8 dark attribute monsters. During your main phase, you can detach one Exceed material from this card, add one card from your graveyard to your hand. During the end phase, you can attach one dark attribute monster from either player's graveyard to this card. We're playing Zeus, obviously, to nuke our opponent's field, in which you can easily access Black Saint, the legendary Black Saint King, which is something that is really viable in this deck. And you have to play one. Some people say it should be in. Basically, another Zeus cannot be destroyed by battle. Same thing with the other effect you can attack. So if this card will leave the field by bar card effect, detach one Exceed material from this card instead. Once per turn, you can detach two Exceed materials from this card, halve your opponent's life points. Quick effect, you can detach 3 Exceed materials from this card, destroy all cards your opponent controls, including hand. The only downside is this effect cannot be activated on both you and your opponent's first turn. So the moment your opponent sets up their field, this card cannot be activated. And you can only use this effect of Legendary Black Saint King once per turn. So, and another XC monster that we're going to is Galaxy, in case we want to negate our opponent's spell and trap, or not traps, but our opponent's spells. And then, if your opponent were to declare an attack, detach a material from this card to change the attack target to this card. In far links, we're going to Black Saint Isaac, which when it's special summoned, you can special summon one Black Saint monster from your main deck with a name different from the card in your graveyard. Black Saint Freeman. If a monster summoned to zone this card points to, gain 800 life points, inflict direct damage to your opponent equal to that amount. It's not a once per turn effect. Once per turn plus the number of monsters this card points to, you can pay 800 life points. Negate the activation of your opponent's card effect or attack. And I'm going to read my final link 4 monsters, going to Black Saint Prince, which requires 3+ dark attribute monsters. You can target one monster this card points to, special summon one level or rank 8 or higher monster from your graveyard or banish zone to a zone this card points to. Quick effect, you can banish one monster you control till the end phase. If a monster banished by this effect is a level or rank 8 or higher monster, banish up to 2 cards your opponent controls, and or in the graveyard, you can only use each effect of Black Saint Prince once per turn. And our final link 4 monster is Black Saint Denzel. This card cannot leave the field by the effects of monsters less than 3,000. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, has the effect of Flame Wingman, you pretty much deal, but it's only half though, unfortunately. Inflict direct damage to your opponent equal to half the destroyed monster's original attack. And we're going to go into our synchros, which happen to be Black Saint Destiny, a level 8 synchro monster. If a monster is special summoned to the field, draw one card during your opponent's turn. You can activate or set one black spell trap from your graveyard, banish it to field, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use the second and third effect of Black Saint Destiny once per turn. Our final synchro monster happens to be Black Saint Marquise, which is a very interesting name. If this card is synchro summoned, shuffle all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. Quick effect, if your opponent were to activate a card that would affect your monster, you can negate the activation, shuffle that card into the deck. If this card is activated during your turn, you can special summon one monster from your hand. Once per turn during the end phase, gain 500 life points for each spell trap card on your field and graveyard with a different name. You can only use the third effect of Black Saint Marquise once per turn. And our final synchro monster is Borreload Savage Dragon, which, since we're playing a good amount of link monsters, you can choose to summon him later on, but you pretty much know what happens. You can equip this card with a link monster. It can negate a number of times depending on the number of monsters link ratings, and it gains equal to half of the attack of the equipped monster. And for our fusions, which are our final 2 monsters, Black Saint Aaliyah can only be specifically fusion summoned a Black Saint monster, and Black Saint monster with the 4 chosen names can be special summoned like basically fusion dance by triggering the above monsters you control. Black Saint monsters that are sent to your graveyard by your opponent's cards by battle or card effect are returned to your hand instead. While this card is face up on the field, you can banish one normal Quick play, field, or continue spell in either player's graveyard. This face-up card gains the banished card's effect as a hard once per turn. Quick effect, you can return this face-up card to your extra deck, special summon the material monster anywhere. Use to fusion summon this card. Neither player activate cards or effects in response to this activation. And for our final fusion monster, which happens to be Black Saint Abraham, same thing by attributing the above following monsters on your field. It's unaffected by monsters with less attack than their own. And same thing with the other effect. During your main phase, you can make your life points 8,000. During the battle phase, you can special summon one level 8 or higher monster from your graveyard to your field. Quick effect, you can return this face up to your extra deck, special summon the material monster anywhere used to fusion summon this card. Neither player activate cards or effects in response to activation. You can only use the 4th, 5th, and 6th effect of Black Saint Abraham once per turn. And I apologize to you guys if it happens to be a very long video, or I just happen to be a lot long-winded. I do want to explain the cards, so maybe to get you guys interested, even like I said, may not exist. These cards may not be real, but I have to be responsible to explain these cards carefully and be able to go through them with detail, so that to show how legitimate I am when it comes to making these archetypes, and then being able to utilize them as a deck, so that if I don't explain myself, then it seems like I'm really missing out on the details, that I'm just not putting enough effort. So I'm willing to put this effort for you guys, so I can demonstrate to you that if you want to make this deck be competitive in a way, though these are the right card choices, and that you can decide to put on your own tax or just decide to minimize the cards. But with 44 cards, I feel like usually most players will play 40 cards, but 44 cards I feel is the right amount, because not only being able to go in certain one-ups, but being able to see a lot of extenders that can really help, can really come to shove. And it goes to show that this archetype is on its complete, it has its own complete method of being able to beat your opponent, and it's gone beyond the level where it is very hard to comprehend how and what are the weaknesses into basically putting pressure on this archetype, and how whether this, the only way to really beat this deck is to use cards that you can solidify in your deck, that that rely on pretty much going after level 8 or higher monsters, or high level monsters, exceed monsters. But again, this archetype can pretty much overcome that if you go first, because of the fact of how very quick it is. But guarantee this deck does have a weakness. But I feel like at the same time, this archetype can manage to push, since because it has spells and traps that can get around certain card effects. But at the same time, the fact that these main monsters are able to outmatch any monster on the field is just enough for it to be not entirely invincible, but extremely powerful. But again, I hope you guys like the video. Obviously, be sure to check for more upcoming content. Be sure to check your notifications. Comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.